Creatures of the night, we gotta talk about Dynamite. We need to talk about Dynamite. Very interesting developments has happened tonight, and I prefer to keep things in order, but my mind is racing all over the place about some of the things that has happened tonight. So we started off real hot with tag team action. We had Takeshita teaming up with Josh Alexander to go against Hangman Adam Page and William Ospreay. Now, I want to say that I was upset because we had Josh Alexander, who just won the Maple Leaf Canadian Championship on Saturday, and I was like, all right, so Takeshita gonna come out with the never open weight title, and Josh Alexander's gonna come out with the Canadian title. And guess what? They did not let Josh come out with the title, and I'm just like, well, why aren't we doing that? AEW, Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling, don't you have some type of partnership that's going on? Why wasn't he allowed to wear the title? Honestly, I don't know. I was slightly disappointed about that. But anyway, they have a really great tag team on commentary. We have Ian, we have Taz, we have Excalibur, which I would prefer it this way. Excalibur and Taz are boring to me too, but Ian, we will definitely accept Ian in place of Shavani. Then we also have Uncle Don, who's on commentary for this match, and I thought we had a really great match here, where it's just like, can they coexist? Can Hangman and William go out there and perform as a team 2 weeks before their Double or Nothing match? And I thought they had really good chemistry with each other. Takeshita and Josh, they have not been teaming with each other for too long. So I'm still waiting to see a little bit more chemistry between the two of them. Now, with this match, I think it was very apparent who's going to end up taking the win here, which is William and Hangman. They end up both taking out Josh Alexander. Hangman hits a buckshot lariat at the same time that Will Ospreay hits his finishing move for the hidden blade, whatever the hell you call it. Hangman pins Josh for the win. Now, after this, they are both standing tall, and they all got their hands raised up or whatever. And you see the background, the graphics of Hangman versus William for Double or Nothing. But Takesha's like, I'm not going to let these bitches celebrate. He comes in there, and he starts beating up both of them. Josh gets into it, too, and they're getting into a scuffle with all these guys in the end. Uncle Don comes out there trying to get close, but he don't get too close because we can't have our uncle getting hurt. So they're fighting, and then just when things seem like Adam and William are on the same page, William accidentally hits Adam, thinking that maybe he was Josh after he ends up getting Takesha out the ring. Now, apparently he didn't know it was him, and now they're at odds with each other all over again. Great opening matchup, and it's a great way to set the tone for the show. But then again, we did have some things, very questionable things happening after that. Now, after we get a hype video for the championship match later on between Samoa Joe and our champion, Jon Moxley, we had Top Flight backstage, they're angry about what happened with them and MJF and the Hurt Syndicate. And they're basically saying, you know what, MJF, you came out there and you did what you did. And, it's not over. We still want a title shot with the Hurt Syndicate despite what happened. And they're going to end up getting that match later on in the night. Now, while they're talking, here comes fucking what was the name of that group? Sons of Texas, Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara. They come back then and it's like, well, we're going to be watching just to make sure everything's okay. Do we need Dustin and Sammy to make sure everything's okay? No, I'm going to get back to that in a moment. Now, after this, we have Ricochet going against Zach Gowen. Zach Gowen, he comes out in crutches because Ricochet came out with his prosthetic leg. I was really nervous about this because I'm like, I honestly cannot tell when the last time Zach Gowen has actually been in the wrestling ring and had a match. So honestly, I was a little nervous. Now, we know that Zach in the past has been able to hold his own in the ring, but we didn't know what he would be at like today in 2025. And I thought I thought he did a really great job with Ricochet. Ricochet did a really great job with protecting this man in the ring. Like, you can see that Ricochet, he's playing off that heel character, but he knows that he has to wrestle a certain type of way with Zach Gowen. And I really did appreciate that. Zach's kids are sitting right there next to the ring, obviously behind the barricade, and they're watching their daddy get his ass whooped. Zach Gowen does not end up taking the win. Ricochet ends up taking the win with the spirit gun, and even hits him with another spirit gun after the match. Now, I thought this was a really great effort for Zach Gowen. Do we need to see him on a weekly basis? No. If he wants to come and do something else next time, I guess that's okay. Obviously, Ricochet attacks Zach after the match, and then here come Pastor Briscoe, who come out with the save, and honestly, I think that's okay. Now, after this, we have MJF, our scumbag, doing an interview, and Renee was just like, well, we know you want to be part of the Hurt Syndicate, but what happens if the Hurt Syndicate say they don't want you to be part of the Hurt Syndicate? Like, what are you going to do? Then you can see the fear into Maxwell's eyes, like he don't want to go out there. But then here comes the Hurt Syndicate. They come out there and it's like, hey, we want you to watch this match, and we want you to see what it is that we got, and then we're gonna bring your ass out here so we can give you our answer. And the way they said it was very threatening. Bobby Lashley smiling at you is very threatening and scary. I can see why MJF was scared. Now, we have our tag team match, Hurt Syndicate going against Top fucking Flight. Oh my God. Top Flight, they was able to do a little something. But they got their ass whooped. Now, would I have thought that Top Flight can beat Hurt Syndicate just looking at the two teams? No. However, when I tell you, Dante was coming in the ring from outside the ring. He got on the apron, and out of the blue, Shelton came out of nowhere with a running knee to the face of Dante, and I thought Dante was dead. I was like, it didn't even have to be like this. The way that they manhandled Dante and Darius, I did not like it at all. I'm going to put it this way. The tag team division, I'm not happy with it. I'm really not. Hurt Syndicate, I like them as a team. I got no problem with it. But a lot of them being a tag team has been taken away due to this whole story with MJF, and I wish they could have incorporated MJF trying to be part of this team while also focusing more on the tag division, and something for me is lacking with that. Now, just when you thought that this whole thing was over and that MJF was just going to come out there and they was going to let him know he's going to be in the group, then we had other teams come out. Fucking Dustin and Sammy comes out, and they're fucking have the motherfucking nerve to be asking for a tag championship, a tag championship match with the Hurt Syndicate. Sammy and Dustin, who already have Ring of Honor tag titles, and Dustin, who also have the Ring of Honor 6-man tag titles, these motherfuckers ain't doing a motherfucking thing over there. Sammy, who just a week ago or so, who was pointing at Adam Cole for the TNT title. So you mean to tell me that there's no other motherfucking teams back there that could be going for not just the Ring of Honor tag titles, but also against the Hurt Syndicate for their titles? We're bringing out another tag team that has tag championships and another championship on top of that do absolutely nothing for the promotion that they were. You see, I was trying not to get worked up about it, but this is the truth, that they have titles and they're barely on Ring of Honor. And then they're coming on AEW to ask for title shots? Like, what the fuck are we doing, Tony Khan? While they went out there to ask for their shot, Crew came on from behind, and they're asking for their title shot. They said that they deserve it. They beat Top Flight. Since we beat them, we should be able to go against y'all. The crowd was chanting, shut the fuck up, or whatever they were saying to Action Andretti and them. And Dustin and Sammy end up getting Crew out of there. Whatever the situation is, Crew has to go against the Sons of Texas. Winner of that match will go against Hurt Syndicate. I don't know if it's double or nothing or something. But what the fuck are we doing is what I'm trying to say. Private Party not doing anything. All them other tag teams, they're not doing anything. And we're literally getting Sammy and Dustin to be in it. Let me move on. So now we're back from the commercial break. Hurt Syndicate are still in the ring. They tell MJF to come on out. MJF music hits, but he doesn't come out. And then MVP said, Shelton, why don't you go back there and get MJF to get his ass up in the ring? And the way he said it, I was just like, oh, I would be scared too. But then again, if MVP asked me to get my ass somewhere, I would definitely be going. Now, Shelton goes back there, and we see Sean J. Dutt, Jerry Lynn, Tony Khan sitting in gorilla position, and MJF is hiding behind Tony Khan. And we know why we know this? Because Tony Khan gets his ass up, and he's pointing, snitching at MJF, saying, MJF, he's right here, he's right here. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? You know what? That was funny. Tony Khan's a snitch. Lovely. Now, Shelton takes MJF onto the ring, and they're going to give him his answer. Shelton says yes. MVP says yes. We're waiting on Bobby. Bobby has his thumb to the side, then he has his thumb kind of down, then he brings it back to the side, and then ultimately thumbs up from Bobby Lashley. MJF goes and just puts his arms and legs around Bobby. Bobby's like, get the fuck off me. He throws him off, and now he's part of the group. I am okay with this, but like honestly, in terms of the tag division itself, I'm fucking bored. I'm bored. After this, we have a 4-way eliminator match for the for an opportunity to go for the women's title. Toni Storm going against Sky Blue, going against Mina Shirakawa, going against Azumi. Azumi had a match with Mina and CEO on Friday at the New Japan Resurgence pay-per-view. Azumi took that title off of CEO. Well, she pins Mina to win, and now CEO has one less title on that pretty little waist. Now, the match was great. Immediately, Mina and Azumi was like, bitch, we picking off from where we left off from Friday. So they go at it while Sky Blue and Toni Storm go at it. And as great as this was, I was kind of expecting for Toni Storm to win, because I wasn't sure what was going to happen in terms of like, if somebody wins this, are they going against Toni at Double or Nothing? Toni did already win against the last 4-way eliminator, so I was like, well, if they do it again, it's fine. But Mina Shirakawa ends up pinning our girl Toni Storm, which was very interesting. Inside cradle, I don't see no roll-ups, none of that shit. I'm just so fucking over these type of finishes. But she ends up winning. Toni Storm looks surprised. She's like, what? And she's okay with it. We're fine with it. They've immediately put the graphics of Mina versus Toni at a Double or Nothing, so we have another women's match on that card. Another thing is, when Mina came out, she had new music, a new dance routine. I was like, oh, well, what happened to the old one? And then when she won, it was right back to the old song. And apparently, Tony Khan was reading everyone's complaints on social media and decided to give her song back by the end of the match. Tony Khan, thank you for listening to the fans about one thing. Thank you. Oh, so I did forget to mention that after, I knew there was going to be shenanigans after this, Azumi gets attacked by CEO after the match, and Jamie Hayter comes on out there to attack CEO for no reason. Why would she just come on out there and just bother CEO? CEO's taking care of business. She lost her title. Can you understand why she would be attacking Azumi? I totally understand. Jamie Hayter comes on out there, and she put the pause on CEO, and the use of security comes out there and actually be useful and keep these girls away from each other. Let's talk about MJF backstage, who apparently has his own lawyer, which is Mark Sterling. Mark Sterling getting TV time on a Wednesday night. Yes, we up from here, hopefully. He's MJF lawyer, apparently, and MJF needs him to go over the contract between him and Hurt Syndicate. They're going to have a contract signing next week for him to join the group. And MVP seems to be a little offended. Like, you need a lawyer to go over these papers? Do you not trust us? And he says, look, I'm just trying to make sure everything's kosher. I don't feel no type of ways about it. Just want to make sure everything's okay. So we get a contract signing next week. Now, after this, another bullshit segment. Tony Schiavone, just when I thought we was going to have the whole night without Tony Schiavone, he comes into the ring, and Nigel McGuinness is there. Nigel, we love you. This has nothing to do with you. It's Tony we don't like. And basically Nigel is apologizing for getting involved with Daniel Garcia's match with the whole thing with FTR last Thursday. There we go. Damn, Thursday was last week. Collision. Anyway, Danny Garcia come out there. Danny Garcia, at first I thought he was gonna get into it with Nigel, but he was like, "Oh, you don't need to apologize to me about anything. You did what you had to do, and I would do the same thing." While they're agreeing with each other and everything, then he goes like, "We should team up and go against FTR." But then Stokely comes on out there, and he started talking shit about Nigel and about how he's just a commentator and he's washed up and he's watching wrestling every week, just reliving his glory days vicariously through everyone else. All this bullshit. And while he's talking, Danny Garcia's like, we should just team up and get our hands on FTR. And here comes FTR attacking them after that. And Daddy Magic, who looks like someone's fucking lost relative at the arena, just makes his way into the ring. And nobody's fucking scared of Daddy Magic in a little crowbar. Why does Daddy Magic need to be here? Honestly, I don't know. FTR have a stooge with Stokely. So I guess Nigel and Danny Garcia can have their little stooge too. Alright, what I've been itching to talk about, the main event. Steel cage match for the AEW World Championship title. Samoa Joe versus Jon Moxley. Our champion, Jon Moxley. They got these motherfuckers in the ring. Within the steel cage structure, they put the chain to close the door. And honestly, that chain didn't do anything. Like, anybody could literally just slip through the space. And it's whatever. They actually have a pretty a great match. They were saying on commentary that this is the first time that the AEW World Championship has been defended in a steel cage, which is very interesting fact. I'm pretty sure this will happen again at some point. Look, was Jon Moxley bleeding? Let's talk about it now. Absolutely. This guy was leaking all over the place. This is exactly what we expected. We haven't seen Jon Moxley bleeding like this in a really long time. And I thought that for a while, I was like, all right, hopefully everyone from Death Rider stay away and we just get Moxley just doing his thing as a champion. And that's all I wanted. To be honest, we haven't really seen that at all with Jon Moxley, with him just being like, I don't necessarily need the Death Riders all the time in order to get shit done. You're already in a steel cage, so did you really need any help? No. Now, we went to commercial break, and when they get back from commercial, Willow and Hobbs is already out there, and I'm just like, okay, what's going on? And then at some point, Claudio, Marina, and Marina was already there. She came out with Jon Moxley. Claudio and Wheeler Yuta came out there. Now those four are fighting outside the ring. It got crazy because all of a sudden, someone in a hoodie came. They always in a hoodie. Somebody's always in a motherfucking hoodie. Comes out there with the briefcase and slides it through a little space from outside the ring through the cage. Jon Moxley take it. I watched this shit back and I'm looking at the referee looking dead at the whole exchange and just acting like he didn't see anything. And Moxley takes the briefcase and knocks out Samoa Joe for the win. At first I was like, well, who's that? Pac is still injured. That can't be Pac. And you get a good look at the person and it's Gabe Kidd from New Japan Pro Wrestling. And if you watch New Japan like I do, then you're most likely like, well, what the fuck are you doing here? And this kind of feels random when you think about a lot of things that's going on between both companies. Jon Moxley ends up winning, and everybody's brawling out there. Even the Elite came out there to help. Okada came out there. Kenneth Omega, Lord have mercy, Kenny came out there. And Kenny and Okada got into it, and at that point I was just like, they teasing us again, just letting us know that hopefully at all end we will see these two motherfuckers go at it, but we'll see. And they got Kenny in the ring, and they put the ring down with Gabe Kidd and the Death Riders and Samoa Joe. They're beating these guys up like there's no tomorrow. And then Speedball Mike Bailey, he comes out there and he runs after Okada. We almost missed it because cameraman wasn't ready. And to pretty much try to even the whole thing up was Swerve, who comes out with Prince Nana. Prince Nana with a cup of coffee in hand dancing. Swerve comes out there, climbs up the ring, and then jumps down to everybody that's down there. and they end up raising the ring because one of the Jackson brothers had like a remote control to lift the thing or whatever. The whole time I'm just like, what is Gabe Kid doing here? Because I'm thinking of everything that has happened in the past few days, within New Japan, and I'm trying to make sense of things. It's looking like Gabe Kid wants to get revenge on Kenny because he said, I remember what you did. Gabe Kid, Kenny Omega, in my opinion, so far in May 2025, has still had the best match of the year so far, just 5 days into the year, over at Wrestle Dynasty. So that's one thing. Another thing to keep in mind here is just that on Friday at the New Japan Resurgence pay-per-view, the War Dogs, which is the faction that Gabe Kid is in, went against Elite and the Good Brothers, and they had their match. And after the match, the Elite and the Good Brothers were trying to make amends with them, and they were just like, kiss my motherfucking ass, and they end up walking away from them. And then on Saturday, the War Dogs, which are Clark Connors and Drilla Maloney, they had a tag match against the Good Brothers at Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling. That match ended up in a double count out because these guys were fighting outside the ring and they took their fight backstage. Referee ended up counting these guys out, so we didn't know what was going to happen. Matter of fact, oh yes, we do know what was going to happen because later on, the Good Brothers said that they was going to have a rematch at the Resurrection pay-per-view on July 5th, I want to say, at Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling. So the War Dogs are feuding with the Good Brothers, who are kind of part of the Elite. So what is Gabe Kid doing with the Elite at AEW? I have no clue. Swerve is just like, you know what? I ain't scared of none of y'all. I'm not scared of anything. Last time I was in here, I was in a steel cage with Hangman, so there ain't nothing that can scare me. Anarchy in the Arena, y'all versus us. He even mentioned the girls too, Willow Nightingale and Marina Shafir, to be part of that as well. We don't know exactly who's going to be in that because it seemed like they have like 8 people within that group. Claudia, Willa Yuta, John Moxley, the Jackson brothers, Gabe Kid, all over there, and Marina. That's it, Marina. That's like 8 people over there. And then we had Swerve, Samoa Joe, Hobbs, Willow, Kenny Omega, and who am I missing? And I think that's pretty much it. So they have more people within their group. Personally, you don't have to put the coffee down and get in it if that's what it takes, I prefer to see this to be like a 5-on-5 thing. So y'all gonna have to pick 5 people, which includes a girl, obviously, and do this thing. If they have too much people, it's going to be overkill. Overall, the show was, some things I just did not like, but the ending left people talking, and that's what you want. That's exactly what you want, Tony Khan. You want people to be talking about this. You want people to be trying to make things add up in terms of why is Gabe Kid here and want to tune in for the next episode. And I thought that was a really great way to close out. You guys, thanks so much for watching my review. I'll be back tomorrow with a review on Ring of Honor. See you guys then. Bye.